Welcome to News Brief.
Today is July 7th, 2025.
And there's just been an incredible amount happening globally just in the last few days. Politics, conflict, even, well, natural disasters and sports.
It's a lot to process, definitely.
Yeah.
A real mix. We'll try to connect some of those dots for you.
Okay, so let's start in the U.S. President Trump signed that One Big Beautiful Bill Act, the OBB, on the 4th of July.
Right. And it moved remarkably fast.
It really did. Passed the House on July 3rd.
Yeah, very close vote to 218 to 214.
And they used budget reconciliation in the Senate to avoid the filibuster?
Exactly. Which
Yep.
let them bundle priorities from, 10 committees?
Into one huge bill. How huge are we talking?
The final version seems to be somewhere between 870 and maybe 1,000 pages.
Wow. Okay. And the cost. The CBO must have weighed in.
They did. The estimate is, it's big. A $3.4 trillion increase to the deficit.
Trillion. Over 10 years.
Over 10 years, yes.
Hmm.
That's a significant number. And Democrats, they weren't happy.
What were their main concerns?
Warnings about cuts to social safety nets, and also that nearly 12 million people might lose their health insurance because of it.
Okay, so major legislation passed, but then almost immediately a different kind of political news broke.
Right. Elon Musk.
Announcing a new political party.
Yeah, on July 5th. Called the America Party.
Right.
It apparently came out of an X poll he ran.
An X poll.
Really? Seems so. Over 65% of 1.25 million voters supposedly supported the idea, and Musk himself had just come out against the OBB.
Why was he against it?
He cited the deficit impact and, sovereign debt concerns, so there's a direct link there.
Interesting timing. What's the party's plan then? What are they trying to achieve?
Their stated goal is to restore freedom and challenge, as Musk put it, the one-party system.
And their strategy, it sounds specific.
It is. They're calling it a hinge strategy. Not trying to win a majority, but targeting maybe 2 or 3 key Senate seats and, say, 8 to 10 House districts.
To hold the balance of power.
Exactly. To be the deciding votes.
Yeah.
Platform-wise, it's kind of centrist.
Like what?
Reducing debt, responsible spending, using AI and robotics for military modernization, pro-technology, less regulation, especially for energy, also free speech, and, interestingly, pro-natalist policies.
Pro-natalist. Encouraging births.
Yeah, policies aimed at increasing the birth rate.
Okay. And how is this landing with President Trump?
Not well. He called it ridiculous on July 6th, a train wreck.
Do you say why?
Said third parties always fail, just cause disruption. And apparently the Treasury Secretary even advised Musk to stick to his businesses.
Great. History isn't kind to third parties in the U.S. Okay, let's shift overseas. A lot happening internationally, too. A key meeting today.
That's right. Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu meeting at the White House today, July 7th.
And this comes after that recent Israel-Iran conflict, the 12-day one.
Yes, which involved that joint U.S. military campaign against Iran's nuclear program. Both leaders called it a success.
But they might want different things now.
It seems so. Trump apparently wants to restart diplomatic talks with Iran.
And Israel.
More skeptical. Likely looking for U.S. backing for, potential future military action if Iran tries to rebuild its nuclear capabilities.
Got it. What about Gaza? Any movement there?
Trump's pushing for a ceasefire this week.
Oh.
And there are reports, whispers of progress in the Israel-Hamas talks.
Progress like what?
Maybe a 60-day pause,
Mm-hmm.
more aid, hostage releases. Netanyahu did confirm 20 living hostages remain.
But it's still far from settled.
Oh, definitely. Hamas is demanding total liberation, an end to the war, Israeli withdrawal. Netanyahu says the war only ends when Hamas is defeated or surrenders. Big gap there.
Right. Meanwhile, Russia and Ukraine, still ongoing. What's the latest?
Ukraine claimed an attack on July 5th, targeted a Russian airbase in Borysoglebsk, aimed at a depot for glide bombs and planes, they said.
And Russia's reaction?
Intensified bombings, hundreds of drones, decoys, hitting places like Melnsky and Kiev especially.
Kiev had a bad attack?
Reportedly its heaviest air attack since the invasion started. That was on July 4th. 2 killed, 31 injured.
That's terrible. And this is happening while there are reports of a pause in U.S. aid.
Yes, including air defense missiles, it seems.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a very contradictory signal to be sending right now.
Were there any diplomatic calls happening amidst all this?
A few. Zelensky and Trump spoke on July 4th, called it important and productive, discussed air defense, joint arms production, U.S. efforts to end the war.
Okay. And Trump also spoke to Putin.
Same day, July 4th. But Trump described that call as having no progress. Russia basically said they're sticking to their goals.
So positions seem pretty entrenched there. Let's turn back home, sadly, to some devastating news from Texas.
Yeah, really tragic. The Texas Hill Country. Flash floods from the remnants of Tropical Storm Barry
When did this happen?
between July 4th and 6th. Just massive rainfall, 5 to 12 inches in some places.
And the impact has been severe.
Heartbreakingly so. At least 83 deaths reported in central Texas. 68 of those in Kerr County alone.
68. That's awful. And children involved?
Yes, tragically. 28 children among the dead in Kerr County. And statewide, over 40 people are still missing.
I heard a summer camp was hit particularly hard.
Camp Mystic. A Christian girls' camp. Just devastating. At least 5 young campers, only 8 or 9 years old, died. And as of yesterday, July 6th, 11 more girls and a counselor were still missing.
Unimaginable. Survivors described it.
As a black wall of death. Just sudden, overwhelming.
And questions are being asked about warnings?
Yes. Criticism about the lack of emergency alerts. It's come out that Kerr County officials apparently rejected a more robust alert system in the past.
Why?
Cited cost as the reason. Now, local authorities are calling it a 100-year flood, but that decision is obviously under scrutiny.
Understandably, rescue efforts must be ongoing.
Absolutely. Huge effort. Over 200 people rescued, many airlifted by helicopter or the Coast Guard. President Trump has declared it a major disaster in Kerr County.
Such a terrible tragedy. Let's try to shift, if we can, to something a bit lighter. Sports.
Okay, yeah. Some big moments there, too. Formula One, the British Grand Prix at Silverstone. Record crowd.
How many people?
500,000 spectators over the weekend. Huge.
Yeah. In the race itself.
Lando Norris won. His first victory at his home Grand Prix. Big moment for him. His teammate, Oscar Piastri, actually had a penalty that cost him second place.
Ah, tough break. Anything else notable?
Yes. Nico Hülkenberg finally got his first F1 podium.
No way! After how many races?
His 239th attempt.
Wow.
Incredible persistence, really.
Wow, good for him. Other sports.
The Club World Cup quarterfinals are set. Some big European clubs involved there. And in soccer, the Gold Cup final.
Mexico versus USA?
Yep. Mexico won 2-1. Their 10th Gold Cup title. Big crowd for that, too. Almost 71,000.
Okay. And looking ahead a bit, what about movies? Anything big coming up in 2025?
July 2025 looks pretty packed, actually.
Like what?
We've got Jurassic World Rebirth, starring Scarlett Johansson and Mahershala Ali.
A new Jurassic World, okay.
And the Superman reboot.
Mm-hmm.
James Gunn's directing, focusing on Lois and Clark. David Corenswet is Superman.
Right. What else?
A Smurfs musical, believe it or not, with Rihanna as Smurfette.
Ariana. Oh.
And get this, a reboot of I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Seriously? Who's in it?
The original stars.
Yeah.
Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. are apparently coming back.
That's unexpected. Any other notable ones?
Ari Aster has a new film called Eddington with Joaquin Phoenix and Pedro Pascal. The MCU's third Fantastic Four movie is also slated for 2025. Not an origin story this time. Plus some sequels, like Weapons and Nobody 2.
So, quite a range. It really has been a dense few days, hasn't it? Major laws, global crises, natural disasters, sports records, movie news.
It really is striking how all these, disparate events just seem to pile up one after another.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Are things genuinely speeding up? Are we living in a time of, tremendous acceleration? Or is it maybe just the way we get information now? Fragmented, constant,
Yeah.
creating this feeling of a whirlwind, something to reflect on, I suppose. Keep connecting those dots yourself.